Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability, SVTAGS.org. Today I have a lady with me who is a well-known and respected lawyer in the Bay Area, and she's started a new venture, Janis Carney. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here, Heather.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
I really respect what you're doing, and it's really interesting, and it's a new concept. But before we go there, let's talk about you and your background. I just learned you actually came from somewhere else originally.
Oh.
Tell us a little bit about you, whatever you want to share.
Well, I'm a mother of two and a grandmother of two and almost three.
Wow.
And my history is that I come from Texas originally, but we've been in California now.
I never heard the accent until now. You can hear a little
Did
something.
I say Texas or something? But we've been in California now for 40 years, so
wow.
It's more of my life here than any other place. And
Still
my children are here.
Stuff back there?
Yes, I have a big family in
Okay.
Texas. I was one of 7, so, and it sort of leads into why I went into the area of law I'm in. My parents were a little older, even when I was born, and so by the time I was in law school, my mother was sick, and so we went through periods of care and her passing while I was fairly young
How
mother.
old was she when she?
She died in her 60s.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my father died 10 years later, which was another sort of reinforcement of that whole episode and how you deal with a stepmother, because I had a stepmother in between there, and how you deal with death and dying and estate administration and all of those kinds of issues. I think had an effect. I mean, whatever anyone's background is, it has an effect
And
on
so
them.
family law is where you went to. Where did you go to school for law?
I went to Santa Clara.
Okay.
I was married.
Yay.
I had 2 kids before I even started law school, so it was like I can't go anywhere else. And so my husband was with one of the high-tech companies here.
And you have
so
other
just
siblings
staying.
in Texas still, or no?
Oh yes, I've got 5 siblings in
Oh,
Texas
wow.
still. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We're
That's-
pretty long-lived family.
We have family in El Paso, Texas, and Lubbock.
Oh.
Which is like nobody. Lubbock? What's that?
Those are 2 places I don't have family. I've
Yeah.
got family in San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas,
Great places.
Corpus Christi, so all of the other major places.
Oh, great places to visit.
Well, they are a good place to visit.
So you've been doing law for how long now then?
About, a little over 23 years.
Wow.
Going on to 24.
I was going to say 17 or 16, 23.
Yeah, 23 years. And it's elder law that I do rather than family law. A lot of people have never heard of that term, elder law. And matter of fact, when I was in law school, it was not a term that you heard. There were some attorneys in about the late 80s that banded together nationally and formed an association of elder law attorneys, and it started becoming known. They started getting members.
Did it start in California, or was
No.
it kind of everywhere that
No.
it started?
No, it was outside of California. I know that there were attorneys here in California that were part of that initial group that formed the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, but it was not, I don't think the major principles of it were here in California.
Well,
I could be wrong about that
it's
because I wasn't part of it.
it's interesting because Don Whedon has done a lot of talks about building communities where people can age in place.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually spoke at something called Be the Change with Actera, which was a program I did, which is community. It's basically people from large corporations will send the people that want to develop green teams or corporate social responsibility teams or environmental teams. And it's a year-long program. And he came in and talked about city and urban planning. And it was interesting because a couple weeks ago, now it's called the Senior Network Agenda, which I guess they meet every 3 months, all the resources. Don spoke again, and his presentation changed a little bit, but one of the things that strikes you is like something like 80% of the population by 2020 is going to be over the retirement age. And you know, you sort of have some of these communities that are way out there where people can't get to the grocery store or a restaurant or whatever without driving, and they may not be driving. And then you have the younger 20-somethings where they're all wanting to live in San Francisco because there's already the transportation in place and they don't have cars. Like a huge majority of the kids, the 20-somethings, don't have cars because they don't want to have to do that. So they're living in communities where they can walk or take transit. So it was very interesting, and what you're doing is something that's so important for the future. So tell us about EASEPlan and your new venture.
So as an elder law attorney, I have been doing long-term care planning, which is helping folks figure out how are they going to care for their elders. And I have to come back and talk to you about the word elder. I don't think seniors want to be called elders. But that's on the side. So
well, I just had a young business gal that came on the show. Was like, I really need someone like you that's, you know, an older businesswoman that can mentor me. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm 48. I'll be 50 in 2 years. So yeah, I guess I have more experience now. But yeah, so you know.
So at any rate, I've been helping families with their older generation deal with the issues of long-term care for a lot of years. That's a big part of what I do with long-term care planning. And part of that has developed what an attorney in Tennessee started calling life care planning, which would be to integrate the legal financial issues that are more what you would normally come to an attorney with the issues of quality of life. So it should be a holistic approach to helping families and people as they age. So through that, I developed I brought into my firm a care coordinator, someone who could go and do needs assessments and care plans and to advocate for good care in the nursing homes or hospitals or even at home to help someone age in place or age in whatever place they were in successfully. And through that, I realized that there was a greater need for advocacy than just the care coordination piece of it. And out of that grew the company I've just started called EASEPlan.
So